Whoa, mystery bags for Thanksgiving. I wonder what's in these. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. This is vlog number 425 for October the 6th, 2025. And Thanksgiving's coming up here for us here in Canada. And before I forget to tell you again, Stephen and Walter Live will be on the air next Sunday as usual, except we will be 1 hour earlier. We'll be on at 3 p.m. Eastern Time instead of 4 p.m. Eastern Time, because we're going off to my sister's for dinner. So yeah, we have to get over there. So we're starting 1 hour earlier next Sunday, which is October the 12th. Okay, let's take a look at what I've been up to. Well, same old, same old. Yeah, haven't gotten any further with Stormy Sea. Maybe this week. Maybe this week. So there it is, moving on. I also did these, though. One reason why I didn't get to Stormy Sea, I made a couple of placemats. These were, excuse me, a bit of a prototype. You saw something that looked similar to these a week ago. These are now at a point where I like them, and I can now use this process that I have here, which I'll talk about on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow, to make the matching placemats for the table runner that I'm making for my hairdresser for Christmas. Yeah, so more about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. And yeah, that's all I've got to show you as far as sewing and quilting makes are concerned. So let's jump right into the YouTube channel of the week. And this is all about 3D printing, because Halloween season, there are tons of 3D prints one can make. In fact, there are so many cool things you could just spend the whole year making Halloween 3D prints. And I come close to that. No, I've got enough as it is, but I always see something else that I really like. So I found this video clip, which I think most people who have 3D printers may have already seen. If not, and you're looking for ideas for Halloween decor, then check out this. It's called Top 3D Prints for Halloween 2025, Best Pumpkin, Orange, and Must Try Glow-in-the-Dark Filament. There's a mouthful. This week's YouTube video has to do with Halloween and 3D printing, and if you're looking for some cool things to enhance your Halloween decor, then you'll need to see this video by Lucas Instrom, and it's called Top 3D Prints for Halloween 2025, Best Pumpkin, Orange, and Must Try Glow-in-the-Dark Filament. And I found this really intriguing, some exciting things here, but do I need more 3D Halloween printed things? Not really, but I am intrigued by the glow-in-the-dark filament, and I'm thinking of buying some of that just to give it a try. But anyways, if you're looking for ideas for novelty items for this Halloween's decor, then you're going to want to check out this video, and the link is in the show notes. So the link for that is in the show notes below. There's also a link for this Wednesday's, as usual, sewing day with me, Sewing with Stephen. All are welcome. Starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Link is in the show notes. It's a private Zoom. And then on this coming Saturday, we're having the Idiot Quilter Pop-Up Sew Day. Yes, another one. And this is, this Saturday, October the 11th. Zoom link is in Rent It Lips. Zoom link is in the show notes below. And we open the doors to it at 8 a.m. And as always, on any of these events, you do not have to be there right at the crack of dawn. You can come and go as you please, and all are welcome. So bring along something you want to work on, get caught up on, and you'll have a good time. I guarantee it. Okay, and if you go down, you'll find links for various other things here in the show notes, plus links to my past week's videos if you missed any of those. So let's take a look at what the weather's like today. It is fall, and weather has not been that fall-like. It's more been, and I don't know, excuse me, the frog in my throat, and I'm not sure if the term Indian summer is appropriate for many reasons. But I mean, for this time of the year, I'm not sure if this is when Indian summer occurs, when we get a last burst of really warm weather in, a different season. I'm sorry about my throat. Let me have some coffee first. So, if you can see outside, it's still dark because it is 5 to 6 in the morning. And so, of course, the days are getting shorter. We haven't yet done the clocks clocks behind, go back an hour. That doesn't happen until sometime in November. So yeah, it's kind of dark. Temperature wise though, it's actually a very comfortable 14 degrees C, which is nice. Not sweaty hot, but when I go out for my walk a little later this morning, I will be wearing a light sweater jacket. But I've got my shorts on right now, short sleeve shirt. Yep, I'm milking the nice weather as much as I possibly can right now because you know what's around the corner. And I don't know, depending on who you listen to, we're either going to have a really hard summer or winter, I mean, or a really warm winter. Yeah, but they say that every year. They don't really know, do they? I guess the best thing is to check the Farmer's Almanac. Saw a YouTube video about that and how accurate it is. And surprisingly, for the over 100 years or something that's being published, it's been very accurate most of the time. Yeah. Maybe I should buy one. I don't know. Okay, so the weather for this week is, let me check here on the phone. Okay, so it's 14 degrees right now with a high of 25. And no rain in the forecast today, but there is rain tomorrow. 90% chance of rain with a high of 20. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday are all sunny. And temperatures range from about 14 right up to 19. So, yeah, a little bit chillier, but not horrible. So it looks like Thanksgiving weekend's going to be really nice. So that's a nice thing. Yeah. So that's our weather for today. And if I could stop hiccuping and clear my throat. Sorry. This happens all the time, doesn't it? Yeah. I tell you this every week. I think it's because I've just got up, and I don't know. Coffee fixes everything, though, doesn't it? Okay, so what's pissing me off? Well, it's not really pissed off at them, but I question it. Halloween decorations. Is it too much? I'm going to show you my decorations, and it is too much in a bit here, but I want to talk about the neighborhood. People go hog wild at this time of the year. When I was a kid, people stuck a pumpkin on the doorstep. That was about it. There might be something hanging in the window. Usually a craft that a kid had made at school. How we did that when we were in elementary school, and we made things for the seasons. That was art class. So probably had a cutout pumpkin we drew a face on. And yeah, that was the extent of the decorations. Well, not today. Go into any store and check down their seasonal aisles or whatever. You're going to find LED light strips and hanging lights and hanging lanterns that light up, and ghosts and ghouls and skeletons and all kinds of things. Candles. But it's also, and yesterday we talked about this on Stephen and Walter Live, there's big money to be made in Halloween decorations because it's not just a question of a cheap plastic pumpkin anymore. It's ceramic pumpkins that fit your home decor. It's foliage. It's very elaborate glass candle holders and lights holders and stuff like that. Blankets, quilts. Well, I'm not fighting the quilts because you'll see I have my Halloween quilts out. But it's just a ton of stuff. You'd think it was Christmas. In fact, in some cases, people put up a Halloween tree. And actually, I have to say, they're kind of cute. If it wasn't so much that I hate decorating a Christmas tree, I don't need 2 trees in a year to decorate. Plus, where the heck am I going to store it? But you get the point. It's just crazy. Not only that, but they started putting this stuff out right at the end of August, as usual. And of course, the Christmas stuff is all out now too. So 'tis the season, right? 'Tis the season for retail. So then you have to buy the candy. All right. Now, in the last few years, some people get very elaborate on candies. You know, I remember as a kid, my parents would go out and buy a bag of candy kisses. That was it. You got a candy kiss. Boom, in your bag. Today, you can get the full size chocolate bars. We went and we bought candy for Halloween. We don't get that many kids, so you know what we're thinking, don't you? But we're at Costco and we get a mega box of chocolate bars. And they are the bite size, which the bites are getting smaller every year. 130 uh, chocolate bars. I think it has a Snickers, a Mars. Um, there might be M&Ms. I don't know, Twix or something like that in it. Anyways, first of all, what pisses me off about buying candy is that I'm going to have a lot of it left over, and I know that I will be eating it. We make a rule around here: you cannot open the Halloween candy until after Halloween. Like, because there have been years when we've stocked up on the Halloween candy and had to go out at the last minute and buy more because we ate it before the kids got here. It's kind of sad, isn't it? But who can resist? And they're little bars. You're right. You use rationalization. You know, well, it's not as many calories as a big full size chocolate bar, so that means I can have five. Yeah, no, but it does. But no, it doesn't. But while we're at Costco, they had they had an expensive bag of Cadbury chocolate bars, and we love Cadbury, especially the Cadbury that comes from England. You've heard me talk about that before. And you got 45. They're not a bad sized bars, actually. When I got them home and opened them up, yes, I opened them up. I'm not giving these out to the kids. There were 45. There's 45 in a bag, and I think it was about $18 or something for that. No, God, no. Kids aren't getting the good shit. That's for me. Um, but yeah. Do I need chocolate? No. Do I want chocolate? Yes. Who wins? The yes. Um, but back to the whole point about Halloween. It's just crazy. And these little buggers, I mean, these lovely little children, come to the door with their little bags open, their little pumpkins. And you've heard me talk about it before, and I'll probably talk about it again this year about how I hate it when you see the kids, the infants. They've got a pair of bunny ears on their head. You know that chocolate's going to the parents. The kid's not eating that. And I don't really care how cute your kid looks. It's not my kid. So to me, it's just another kid. But I digress again. Anyways, back to Halloween decorations. I do like decorating for Halloween. I didn't used to. I was not one of those people. I had a big pumpkin. I still do. It's a big plastic pumpkin that has sound and it lights up. And when a kid comes to the door, it scares the bejesus out of them. That makes my day. But you know, and it sits in the front door. Well, yeah, then I started decorating the front door. Then, of course, I got into quilting and sewing and 3D printing and everything. I started making things. Now my house is covered in Halloween. Now I call it Halloween slash fall decor because what I do is I do have some things for the fall and I kind of intermix them with the things for Halloween. So on November the 1st, when I take down all my Halloween decorations, lo and behold, it's decorated for fall. It's right there. And then that'll stay up until the end of November. And then, well, then it's Christmas, right? So, yeah, so starting from about the 1st of October right through until sometime in January, it's nothing but a decorating frenzy. Or at least the house is all decorated for that kind of stuff. Now, my mother, she used to decorate for all the seasons. In fact, she decorated for all the months, pretty much. And she loved doing it. And, you know, she didn't decorate just one room in the house, like the living room. She did the living room, she did the rec room, she did the kitchen, she did the bathroom, she did the bedroom. Every nook and cranny of the house had a seasonal decoration in it. And I know she had a lot because when I finally had to clean out her house, I found it all. Yeah, there was quite a bit of that. Now, you may ask, did I keep any of it? No, I did not. I think my sister took a few pieces, and I don't think I took any of it, and it ended up just being tossed. Yep. And if I think about how much money my mother spent on that stuff over the years, there was a lot. Yep. Could have fed a small starving country somewhere in the world, I'm sure, on what she spent on decorations for the house. But now I've become my mother. Now, I don't decorate for every month, but I do decorate for Halloween, as I said, and Christmas, of course, and Thanksgiving slash fall, and then Easter. And then there's things like for spring, I have spring table runners that I've made and quilts. I change those all out. So I've become my mother. That's what I'm pissed off about. I've become my mother. But anyways, the one thing about decorating though for the seasons is I think it probably brings up very fond memories for a lot of people. And maybe that's why people do it. It's a little trip down nostalgia road. And like I said, I was thinking of my mother when I do the decorating. So, yeah, I guess. So I'm not really pissed off this week at that. I'm just, you know, I feel pressure to decorate. Yeah, I'm pissed off at feeling pressure to decorate. Thank you, manufacturers of seasonal decor. Okay. Um, so the Grow Lights the Deck. I've got a lot of pictures to show you today of things. So it is the end of the growing season, pretty much. And I'll come to our garden outside, but inside we have already started for our winter planting. You can see over in the far right, those little seedlings you saw a week or two ago are now becoming full-fledged tomato plants. Walter will thin them out and he's going to transplant them into bigger pots and put them under the Grow Light 3. Okay, let's talk about grow light numbers, shall we? Because apparently Walter didn't know I had them numbered. I am getting out my label maker. We have 3 grow light systems in this house. Grow light number 1 was the first one that we bought. It's closest to our patio doors. Logical sense, that's where we put the first one up. Grow light number 2 is the one we bought second, and we put it over in the opposite corner in the rec room. And yeah, that came in second. And then Walter established grow lights number 3 in the workshop. Could it be any harder to remember which set of lights? But apparently it is. So I swear I am going to put a little sticker, a label. I'm going to make a label for each one of the grow light systems, and it'll be grow light 1, grow light 2, grow light 3. But anyways, in grow light number 1, you can see we've got some tomatoes going, and we've got some lettuce coming up as well. So that'll be our principal crops, what I show you here right now for the winter. There's nothing in grow light number 2. Well, there is, but it's gnarly. It's old lettuce. We have been eating it, but there's some of it now. It's bolted and the whole bit. Once it does that, it gets tough and bitter. So Walter's got to work on that to do some replanting. But here he's got some of the tomato plants already in these pots, and he cleaned out most of the peppers. He picked them, put them in a plastic bag and put them in the fridge, and got rid of the old plants because they were getting really gnarly and woody and the whole bit. He's left a couple here for us to continue harvesting, but he is going to start new pepper plants and get them under these lights as well as the tomatoes. So our principal crops will be lettuce, tomatoes, peppers, and what did I say the other one was? Peppers, tomatoes. Well, we're going to do basil as well. Again, I feel like I'm missing something. No, I guess that's it. So we have salad garden. Put it that way. I did suggest we try maybe to grow jalapenos or chili peppers as well. I mean, that's what we had out in the garden outside. See how they do under the lights as well. But I bottled quite a few of those, pickled quite a few of those, so we probably don't need a lot of those because we don't use them a lot in cooking. So in the kitchen, speaking of cooking, you can see my philodendrons are doing very, very well. And I needed another flower pot, so this time I made one. I thought it was going to be pretty much about the same size as the ones I already had. I took the measurements. I don't know. Every time I take the measurements and I go to do a 3D print, they always come out a different size. Anyways, this is doing, and I had a whole bunch that were rooting, and now they're planted in this big box, and I've got more that are rooting. It's the jungle, but I love it because it sort of separates the kitchen preparation area from the eating area, and I think it looks nice. It's nice and green. So, yeah. And here's a close-up. This is the new flower pot, nice big one. And these ones I planted on the right side of this pot. Those ones have roots because I rooted them in this little vase that's over here. But these ones down on the left side, I'm trying an experiment and it should work. I just shoved them into the dirt. And they should root. They should root. But we'll see. I'll keep my eye on them. If they start to wilt a little or start to go yellow, then I might yank them out and put them back into water to root more. But yeah, that's my indoor crop of flowers. Well, they're not really flowers, philodendrons, but yeah, greenery. So here's what the garden's looking like right now. It's kind of sad, and I hate this time of year with the garden when it looks like this because it just doesn't look good. This is the end of our jalapenos. This was lettuce. It's bolted. That's what it looks like when you let it go, the bolting. Yeah, that's got to go. I don't know what this is. That's weeds. It's clover in there. And these are herbs. I think that's oregano. Yeah, we had a lot of oregano, and we don't use a lot of oregano. So I don't know what to do with that. Probably nothing. It's green. It looks nice. Then you see the tomato plants and pepper plants. Well, tomato plant still has a few tomatoes on it, so we'll probably harvest those this week. I don't think the green ones on here are going to get it ripe. I don't know. We might leave it a little longer and see. We still have some peppers coming on here. They're small, but we won't yank those up until we're pretty much sure we've got the last of the peppers. And here's a little closer look at the red peppers and some green ones peeking out there. They've done well this year. We've had a lot of peppers. There's the sad tomato plants, but see, there's still just tons of tomatoes on them. This is the chili peppers, and we still have quite a few chili peppers, and I have been harvesting them, and we've been using them in cooking, and I've been putting them in my pickled peppers that I've talked about before. Now, here are our 2-bite melons. That's what we call them. They're cantaloupes. And we have been eating them, but they're tiny. We had some last night. Walter brought a couple in and sliced them up, and we had them with ice cream and a little whipped cream on them. And they're very, very good. Very sweet. They're delicious. They're just very tiny. Well, that's because we started them too late, we think. And I want Walter to try and grow them again next year, but put them in earlier. We'll see. He seems to be apprehensive about it, but I don't know. Who would have thought they would grow in pots? But now they look kind of sad. And the cucumber plant, well, there's still a cucumber. There might be a couple on there yet. So it's funny. We got a good harvest of them at the first of the summer. And then things sort of slowed down, and then I didn't think we'd get any more. And we got a bunch more. So we've done well on those cucumbers. And this is the yellow pepper plant right there. I don't think I have a picture of it. There's a closer look at one of the 2-bite melons there and a cucumber. And yeah, and there's the yellow peppers too. And these yellow peppers actually came from inside. We were growing these inside last winter, and Walter transplanted the plant outdoors, and it did okay. Okay, that's something else. Okay, so that's the garden. And as I said, now it's time to start thinking about our winter planting under the grow lights. We have not bought a real a green pepper or anything in a grocery store for quite a while. And the other day I was sort of looking at the prices of them. Just as well, you need a small mortgage to afford a green pepper these days. Okay, so new products. Yeah, I do have new products to show you. I loved it so much that I bought another one. The air filter. You know, about a few months ago, I picked up one of these, this one, and it sits down here in amongst my 3D printers because I was getting a little concerned about air quality because of things that I was reading about it, and it's dandy. I really like it. It's been working really well, and it does make a difference. Before I got the air filter, I would come down here and I would cough. And if I was using all the printers at the same time and doing some sewing too, I had kind of a persistent cough. That's pretty much gone away since I got the air filters. So I've been talking about it and finally took the plunge. I bought another one for upstairs, and it sits in our family room. And when Walter cooks, it goes off the scale. Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. He would. I think it's when he does any kind of frying or anything like that with oil or whatever. There must be something from the oil that goes into the air. But it works, and it's worth the money. They're not that expensive. You can buy replacement filters for them, and actually, I have a couple of boxes of replacement filters, but I have not replaced a filter yet in the original one. I take it out every so often, and I vacuum it off. And you can see what it pulls out of the air. It's actually kind of amazing. Another advantage of this, and maybe this is my imagination, but I have noticed that the amount of dust in this downstairs area, and a sewing room. So sewing rooms, you get a lot of dust. Um, it's not as bad, and I dust on a regular basis. It isn't as bad since I got the air filter. So there's an added bonus with it because don't we all love dusting? Not. So yeah, if you're thinking about an air filter, but you don't want to buy an industrial strength one, I really recommend this one. Now, how big an area will it do? Well, it does my sewing room, which is, I don't know, 10 by 8 or something like that. I have no idea. So, it does a fairly large area. And I think in the specifications, it tells you how big an area it can cover. In fact, if I just pull this down, yeah, it says, if this means anything, large room up to 1190 square feet of space. 1 times per hour, 595 square feet. Space is 2 times per hour. I don't know what that means, or 5 times, I don't know. And there's some other numbers. So basically, if we go with the first one, about 1,200 square feet, well, that's not a bad size area. I mean, our whole upstairs of our house is about 1,325 square feet. And that's about 1,325 square feet down here. So, yeah. So between the two of them, it should do a pretty good job. So that was my purchase for this past week. And yeah, did I buy anything else? I bought some filament, and I'm just trying to get my screens here where I want them. Bear with me. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so I did buy some filament. I bought some rainbow filament. That is not actually bamboo filament. It's Creality's rainbow filament because bamboo doesn't seem to have rainbow filament. They have the two-tone, which I love, but they don't have rainbow. Creality does, and it was a lot cheaper. So I thought I'd take a chance. Well, I bought one roll a week ago, loved it, think it's great. So I went back to where I bought the one roll, and I bought 2 more. Because can you have too much rainbow filament? I don't think so. So what have I been making, you may be asking? Well, these. Aren't they cute? These are pen holders in the shape of clothing. So there's on the left side, you've got a little dress. And then you've got, that's a button-up coat next to it, then a t-shirt, then a sweatshirt, and then a hoodie. And that's with that rainbow filament that I was telling you about a minute ago with the hoodie. Or no, that's not the hoodie. Where's the hoodie? Oh, I'm missing a hoodie. There's a 6th one here, a hoodie. It looks very much like the sweatshirt, except it's got longer sleeves and it has drawstrings. But that's the puffy winter jacket. But I think they're really cool. So I made a bunch of them. They're going to be Christmas gifts. I'm going to fill them with a variety of different types of pens. And I'm taking 3 of them over to my sister's place on Sunday for dinner to give to the kids, my nephew and niece and my nephew's girlfriend. And I just thought, they might get a kick out of it. I keep calling them kids. They're not kids, they're adults. I mean, they're 30. So yeah. But I think those are really they're fun. And then these practical print. Now, a few weeks ago, I made I see there's a couple of little bits of stuff on the carpet I didn't notice before. Get out the vacuum. Anyways, I needed table risers for a little table that sits off to the left-hand side of my sewing machine, and I needed it to be at the same height as the extended table to the sewing machine, because when it's lower, when I'm like binding a quilt, I need that table to take the weight off, but it got caught because it was a little lower on the edge of stuff. So I had made another set of risers that I sort of designed for myself, but they're too tippy. So I went searching. Now, first of all, I went on Amazon. Holy crap, they want a lot of money, and I couldn't get ones that were exactly the height I needed. They had adjustable ones, but they didn't adjust to the height. They were either too tall or too short. So I found these on, I think it was probably Maker World, and printed them out. And they're doing great. And I also took a little bit of alien tape, if you know what that is. And it's a very sticky tape. And I put a little piece underneath the leg or underneath the bottom of the leg on the table, so that they would not shift around in that little recessed area. And so far, they're working really well. So this is an example of a practical print. What's next up here? Oh, well, we'll come back to him in a moment. Okay, so am I making anything else? I'm making some little leaves. And what I'm doing is I'm putting those things that I already told you about that I made for my nephew and niece. I put them in a paper bag. I did some cleaning out of what I call my stationery cupboard, and found all kinds of stuff. Most of it stolen from the school when I retired. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I found these paper bags that I probably bought, they have a handle on them, that I bought for crafting. And I didn't really want to throw them out because, you sometimes need a paper bag. And this was one case when I needed it. So that's why I'm putting their little pen holders in, and I'm making up a little kind of decorative piece. Let me see if I can, these ones I haven't done anything with yet, but so I'm sort of gluing them together, and I'm punching a hole in the top of it and putting a ring through it, and they'll hang off the handle of the bag. Just a little fun fall decoration. Not that the kids will appreciate it, but my sister will think it's cute. Maybe. I don't know. Sometimes she laughs at me. What can I say? I'm used to it. It's been that way since the day she was born. I'm the older brother. What are older brothers for? To laugh at. So anyways, yeah. So that's what I've been doing with the 3D printer. So let's take a look at, where's that taking me? Oh yeah. Old video clip from S&W Live. This is us talking about, mostly me in this video, talking about my cologne and how difficult it is to get my cologne. First world problems.
So we went on a little shopping trip this week. It was Tuesday. Every other Tuesday, our housekeeper comes and cleans and things like that, and we don't like to be under her feet when she's here. So we go off and we go shopping. And I was out of something that's very important to my existence, and there's only one place in the world that I can get it.
Well, one place in Canada.
Okay, I know. Do you know the meaning of hyperbole?
No, okay, go ahead.
Or you might call it a hyperbole, whatever. Now it's time out. Yeah, so we went to a shopping center on the west side of the city of Toronto, which is about 40 minutes from us, 45, I guess. I don't know by the time we got there. Because I needed my cologne. Now, I've been wearing this cologne for probably, before I went to university, so probably going on to almost 40 years.
Well, it came out in 1964 or 65.
Well, I wasn't wearing it then. But I've probably been wearing it for close to 40 years.
So now it's an old man's cologne, right?
Yeah, right. Read my lips. So anyways, it's called Aramis. It's by Estee Lauder. And it used to be, it wasn't hard to get. Years ago, you could get it at all the major department stores like the Bay, I don't know, all of them around, Sears, Eaton's doesn't exist anymore. And those of you that aren't from Canada won't know what I'm talking about. That's okay. But anyways, it's a fairly pricey cologne. I mean, not the most expensive in the world, but for a 240 milliliter bottle, which usually lasts me about a year and a half, costs about $110, $120. But I've always worn this. I've tried other ones. I don't like them. I like this one. Over the years, everybody stopped selling it, with the exception of Holt Renfrew. Now, we do not have a Holt Renfrew near us. There's one downtown Toronto, and there's one out at this huge shopping plaza mall in the west end of Toronto.
Which has a lot of high-end stores.
Yeah, there's a
lot
lot
of
of
Renfrew is considered a high-end.
High-end store. And so we make the truck into Yorkdale, the shopping center, to go to the Holt Renfrew to get my Aramis. So we're looking around the place, can't find the men's fragrances. We're in the women's fragrances and say to somebody, say, where's the men's fragrances? We had to go to the other end of the store, and it's a very large store. We get there, there's this young fellow who's waiting on, okay, I think if she wasn't a hooker, she should have been. She was wearing these boots that went right up to her thigh. She had a glittery top on, some fake diamond butterfly stuck in her hair, and she was taking this guy through every cologne they had in the department and asking him every question. I think she was trying to buy cologne for her boyfriend, husband, or trick. I'm not sure which it was. Sugar daddy. And she was like, well, that smells a little woody. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want the musky.
She was being a real pain in the
Oh,
butt.
she was pain in the ass. And this poor guy was rolling his eyes. Well, we're standing there. There's nobody else in the department to wait on us. And I'm looking on the shelves and I can't find the Aramis. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe they don't have any more. But I wanted to make sure. So we're very politely waiting for him to finish with her. And he never did finish with her. And she was making him drag everything out of the cupboards and the whole bit for this. And so this other lady in another department, she was looking in, and I think she might have been the manager of the whole part of this section of the store. And she came over and she said, have you been waited on yet, sir? And I says, no, I haven't yet. And she kind of rolled her eyes. And the poor guy, I felt sorry for him because he was starting to panic, right? She obviously had more seniority over him. And I think he would have like got to get rid of that woman.
Well, anyway, we just sort of said...
so I said, can I ask you a quick question? Do you still sell Aramis? And he gave me this blank look for a moment. I says, I guess you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? He says, actually, I don't work in this department. He says, the girl that does this department couldn't come in today and we're short-staffed. And so I felt even more. And he says, but I do know what the kind is. He says, but I haven't seen it for a while. But he said, if you go down to the ladies' fragrances and ask them down there, they'd probably be able to tell you whether or not we still carry it. So off we trucked to ladies' fragrances, asked them about it. But they were really good. She says, I said, is it discontinued? That was my greatest fear. My cologne would be discontinued and I'd have to find something else. And so she's, just give me a minute. And she went to check. And she says, no, it hasn't been discontinued, but they're not carrying it. So she suggested a couple of other places. We went there, couldn't get it. Nobody had it. So we came home, and Walter, of course, did his little investigation on YouTube, on the internet, Google, and he found a place called Fragrant X, where you could buy it. And actually, the price was really good. I think they're located in the States. Well, they are located in the States. But I was a little leery, like it was about half the price, plus the shipping was really reasonable. And I wanted to know whether it was authentic. Now, they claimed that all of their perfumes and colognes were all the authentic, the originals. But, there's lots of those knockoffs and things. And then you're dealing with a place called Fragrant X.
Yeah, who knows? It may have been sitting on the shelf for 12 years.
Well, that's a possibility, too. But anyways, so I investigated, and I thought, I'll take a chance. So I ordered 2 bottles of it. It'd be enough Aramis to last me 3 or 4 years. But I have to say I'm impressed with this company because after I ordered it, they sent me an email to let me know that they had my order, they were processing it, and then they would send me a tracking number. And if I had any questions or any concerns, they gave me contact information a little bit. So I wrote back to them and said, well, I'm kind of impressed. You're called Fragrant X, but I want to know, is this original? This isn't a knockoff. And they wrote right back and says, no, all of our colognes are original. They aren't knockoffs. And if you don't like it, you have 30 days. Money back guarantee. So I figured, okay, So I spent like $98 Canadian, including the shipping, for two 240 milliliter bottles of Aramis, which usually one would have cost me $110, $120. So we'll see. And I've got another tracking number now, and last I saw it was just coming across the border, so we'll see when we get it. So what?
So that takes me to events in the past week. Well, when I'm out for my walk, I was looking at how people have been decorating their places, and I have to say I love this one. And it looks even better at night. Walter took a picture of it at night, and I don't have that picture because I just remember he took it the other day. But this guy, he's big. He's quite big, and he all lights up. Well, you can see some of the lighting in him now. And then the spider web, and there's another guy sitting over at the other corner. This is what I mean about Halloween decorating. But I think he's great. They had him up last year too, but he kind of fell over at one point. So hopefully this year they have him better supported. I'm not really sure how he's supported. I think there's a steel rod or something that goes up the back of him. But yeah, I think that's really kind of cool. We've looked at them. They have them at Costco. They're kind of pricey, for something like Halloween. You don't know if the wind picks up or something, your bones may be on everybody's front lawn. But I thought that was fun. And of course, I told you I was going to show you my decorations. Okay, quickly. Let's start with quilts and table runners. Now, I have other quilts on the wall, as you can see, that are not Halloween. I just put these up over top of them. Why? Because I'm lazy. I don't want to take the other ones down. I just hang these in front of the other ones. Okay, it's an effect. Let's go with that. This one I think I made 2 years ago. And there's another quilt underneath that, but it hangs there. It was a panel. And then I made this. This one I did last year. It was actually something I did as to help out Kim McGowan of the Atlantic Embroiderers Group. She had digitized these applique designs, and so she was sending them to me as she got each one digitized, and I was sewing them out to see how they worked, and it turned out quite nice, and I made it into this little quilt here, more of a wall hanging, and it's draped over the deacon's bench. And then, of course, what to do with a table runner. I made this some times ago. This is more of a Thanksgiving part, but like I said, I intermix my Thanksgiving or my Thanksgiving fall decor with my Halloween decor. So when I take down the Halloween decor, yada, 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 and off on this table is, I think I have a close-up of this, so you'll see that in a minute. Of course, this is the mantle of the fireplace, some cheap floral work intertwined around a couple of 3D printed skulls and a green ghost and another skull here. And there's lights. This is all glowing under here because I have these disc lights that change colors, and it looks kind of nice at night. I just wish I had ones that were on a timer. The ones I have here are not on a timer. And it's not easy to find nice lights on a timer. And what I mean by nice, ones that don't go burn out through batteries all the time, as you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. Another quilt on the couch. Yeah, I know the colors don't go together, but yeah, it's still nice. And I folded it that way, so yeah, because I did. And another one there. And this is my centerpiece, my Thanksgiving fall centerpiece on my living room or on my dining room table, plus the table runner underneath made. This was all done 3D printed with the exception of the foliage. And I mounted it all, glue gunned it all to a plastic tray. You can't see the tray because it's covered by the foliage. And this sits in the guest bedroom, for lack of a better place, during the rest of the year. But it'll be out on display for this next month. And then, of course, the centerpiece is my embroidered 3D freestanding lace embroidered Halloween haunted houses. And you've seen this before in past years, but every year I mix it up a little bit. This year I made these little cauldrons and these pumpkins on the 3D printer, and I have lights in them. And these lights don't last. They take 2 of those round disc batteries and they change color, and they are remote control too. But the batteries last about 1 day or 1 night, and then they start flashing red. So I think this is it. I'm not going to bother replacing the batteries in them as they go. I'm just leaving them in there. It's only us anyways. And I have a little string. If you look real closely, you'll see little purple lights, some cheap dollar store LED lights, but they serve the purpose. And it looks nice when it's dark. And I didn't put any lights inside the houses. You can. There's a spot for them. But I found that these lights, they kind of, where they're situated, kind of put a glow on them already without having a light inside them. So yeah, that worked out okay. These are little lanterns and a little ghosty guy here. They light up as well, little flameless candle thing in them, which are dead now. The batteries, actually, they're rechargeable. So yeah, pain in the butt. Oops, wrong way. And here you see this. You've seen this theater before. It's one of my 3D creations that I made, but I decided to add a couple of ghosts to it. On the stage, little ones, and there's a cat and whatnot. And there it is, a close-up a little again with the ghosts. More quilts. Now, the brown quilt in the center sits there pretty much all year round, but it's got fall vibes to it. But then I threw on these other two. And then this corner. Now, the Christmas house, okay, it's the Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know. I'm not taking down the Christmas house, so I put all the pumpkins and stuff around it. This is an embroidered pumpkin that's here, a freestanding lace one. And these other pumpkins, I think the orange one I did make on the 3D printer, but these other ones are dollar store. Turkey I made on the 3D printer as well. The lighthouse is there all year round too. And I like to just buy some of the cheap foliage at the dollar store, pull them off their stems, and I use them just to make a little, mat kind of a thing, just loose underneath whatever's on the table. And the other table, now of course this works, this is up all year round, now the spooky haunted house kind of thing, but we've added a couple of little things there and all my remote controls as well. And of course, the latest addition to this, which will be up there all year round, it's on top of my china cabinet, is Dracula's Castle in amongst my Seaman collection. Don't go there. And here's a close-up of, these are all 3D printed houses. They don't light up. This isn't a particularly good picture. I could have added a little bit more light to the picture for this, but yeah, it's just there for fun. And the dragon actually sits up there usually, but I thought he looks good for Halloween too. So he's down here on the bottom of that shelf. And yeah, that's it. So that's my Halloween decor. It's not designer. It's kind of a mishmash. It's wherever I found a spot and I threw the piece down, but it's there. It's fun. What the heck? Okay, so that takes me almost to the end of the broadcast. Today is a special day. It is October the 6th, and you know what that is. Retreat registration begins at 9 a.m. this morning. I need your first name, your last name, and your contact email address if it's different from the one you sent this information to me. And I will send you back a confirmation to let you know your spot is reserved. So that starts at 9 a.m. Eastern Time today, Monday, October the 6th. Do not try to book it earlier than that because I will ignore it. I'm trying to make it fair for everybody. And just a reminder, Pop-Up Sew Day is this Saturday, October the 11th. And Stephen and Walter Live this coming Sunday is on 1 hour earlier just for this week because of Thanksgiving. So it'll be at 3 instead of 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, that's it for me today. I got to go out for my walk and get this up. And, well, we'll see you again real soon. Bye.